Hello everyone. Today is Thursday, October 9th, 2025 at 3:38 a.m. in the morning. So I guess I'll try to do a video while it's quiet. Excuse me. I don't know how long I'll be in the video, but last night excuse me. Last night I didn't come on the live stream later last night. I told y'all I was extremely sleep deprived and tired. So to y'all small amount of supporters who were able to even help me with $5 or $10, I greatly appreciate it. And they have these perps nearby making noise. Shut the hell up. I just got on here. And they're stopping. They're stopping. Go somewhere. Wow. Y'all asses ain't even freaking homeless. Go somewhere. I mean, shortly after I said that it's quiet, they come nearby talking loud and, yeah, so they had certain things that went on that happened that I could not, certain things I have to either hold off on talking about, or certain things that I cannot talk about at all. But certain things, even from the night before last, or the day before yesterday, I wanted to tell y'all, needed to talk to y'all about that I didn't get to say during the live streams because of being so distracted and everything. But excuse me. But I was trying to say thanks to y'all, small amount of people who contributed and helped what you were able to afford to help. Thanks so much. I appreciate that. It's enough to get me something to eat, but as I said, I was trying to get more hotel nights, and I feel extremely dirty. And the laundry, I'm almost out of quarters and need laundry, and I need more of my soap that I use. Excuse me. As I said, ever since a child, I've been suffering a condition called seborrheic dermatitis that they call seborrhea. So, oh man. So I excuse me. So yeah, the day before yesterday, I told y'all. I wish I had, I'm upset that they stole my, that when they stole my bag, they stole, I think those MP3 players were at least $30, $25 to $30 each. And some of them were unused. And it's like, I needed those for medical reasons, to protect my ears. So, they stole almost everything I own. So, I'm frustrated. And then, the MP3 player, because when I got, wait a minute. The night before last Tuesday, what happened? Okay, So after I got off the live stream chat, I already told y'all what happened after leaving the hotel, and I can't publicize the video, you know, but I told y'all what happened Tuesday. But then, I got off the bus and I recorded a video, and and a couple of perps had tried to run over me with their vehicles, and they had their weird perp activity, and it was over 30 minutes long. But I thought that the video was fully because the YouTube icon disappeared off the top of my phone screen, so I mistakenly assumed that the video was uploaded, and sometimes it shows, sometimes it doesn't. So I accidentally completely deleted the video before it got before it got done uploading. And see, this fake para-police perp is here to be distracting. Go somewhere. I don't care if you're a fucking fake police or para-police. See, they illegally pulled up here and planted here to distract. And they're always gang stalk. They're not here to police, they're here to gang stalk. And they're harassing me with those fake lights. So, yeah, see, as I said, they're throwing off my train of thought and they're throwing off my focus on purpose. So, I mean, so it's like I'm trying to remember everything that happened. So yeah, like with that video, the video got deleted before I realized that it wasn't uploaded, and I thought it was. So, but after the library stuff, I left out at 8:15, and I guess if I would not have talked to the police officer, or if I didn't talk to these other people, then I probably would have made the bus on time. That bus came early, because any other time, if I take the bus and I get there like 8:45, and the bus will not come till like 9:20, and that's the last bus. So the bus came earlier. It came at 8:58 p.m. It passed by, and I was like, damn. But I don't remember if it was before or after that I think it was like slightly before that before, like maybe like a couple of minutes. Oh, the good thing the bastard is gone. But like I started to feel chest pains probably a couple of minutes before the bus showed up. But then the closer I got, it started to intensify. So, and I don't know if the chest pains were caused by, wow. And see, I can't even protect my ears. See, there they go with the fake crusty noise harassment. And I need a second device, even if it's another MP3 player or something. I'm never buying that brand. I'm never buying it again because it's trash, So, So, like, when I left the library, they had a police officer. They always have police officers that act as security guards, right? And so I explained to him, what happened with the May 9th arrest. the officer said he used to work at the library in Harvey, but then he switched over. He said he remembered me, but I don't remember seeing him before. But he told me that when I was at the other library that I was really no problem. And guess what? At the Harvey Library in Gretna or whatever, the library staff usually say that I'm not really much of any problem or any trouble until the stalkers prank calling her with their harassment and stuff, you know. So, but I you know, try to ask. I mean, and I felt like I was taking a risk by trying to ask him for advice, you know, or try to get another officer's opinion, you know, about, you know, the May 9th arrest. And it seemed like he was abusive and narcissistic and, you know, hard and mean and difficult to communicate with, you know, and kind of a jerk asshole, you know. And he tried to say, well, oh, you know, the reason why you deserve to get arrested, or the reason why you got arrested, because you failed to identify yourself during an investigation. And, you know, he kept narcissistically demanding an answer for why I don't feel comfortable with police, or why I didn't identify myself, or why I, you know, and he's like, oh, you think the police are part of the conspiracy too? And, you know, he talked about how he knew about, you know, swatting and all that, you know. But I'm like, he tried to say that, oh, even though the officers saw that nothing was broken into, you failed to identify yourself during an investigation. During an investigation, and you were on the property while they were investigating, and that's why you got arrested. And I'm like, wow, you have no help. I ain't gonna try to talk to him no more. But you know, I mean, y'all know that the cops are, and he was probably a perp too. I mean, y'all know that the cops are involved in the gang stalking, as what I just showed y'all, you know, a few minutes ago, you know. So, you know, I didn't realize I talked to him for like, it was under 15 minutes, but it was like at least between 10 and 15 minutes that I talked to him. And then he tried to give me a fake brochure or something with sober living for druggies. And I'm like, that does not apply to me. I don't do drugs. You know, so I threw it away. And so then I walked about halfway towards, you know, making it to the bus. And I tried to ask, well, you know, what kind of housing is this? And they said it was a sober living place, but not the brochure that I was given by the police officer. And so then they pretty much kind of held me up and talked to me for a bit. I just simply asked what kind of housing or whatever it was, and I was just gonna go. But wow, they held me up and just talked to me, and that was like another freaking felt like 10 minutes or so. And they kept on you know, they said it was like a residential facility for like drug rehab or whatever. I don't really have experience, you know, with the drugs or whatever, but I know that like a lot of these homeless druggies, especially the ones who pretend that they're in fake recovery, but then they sneak behind closed doors and still be doing drugs while they're pretending that they're recovering or completely clean from drugs. And the lady that whatever, she seemed like she worked at the place. She seemed like she was a druggie herself. Like she seemed like she was on her drugs herself, you know. But the druggies at that facility, you know, they were standing outside smoking the fake, crusty, dirty, satanic, evil cigarettes, you know. And see, I hate to be forced to have to tolerate fake loud noise. There's a boat passing by. But so one or two of the guys, it was one of them, try to project his drug usage onto me and say, call this place and call that place and make sure you're honest. You know, make sure you're honest with them. And it's like they try to talk like as if I'm a druggie too. Like they try to project their drugginess onto me and then tell me that I better make sure I be honest. But I am honest. Y'all know I don't do drugs. You know, I don't do any drugs. I mean, y'all see me, you know, pitching a bitch fit. If people smoke the fake, crusty, dirty, satanic, evil cigarettes, weed, or vape around me, you know. So a lot of these drugs, I don't know what they look like. I have zero experience with these drugs, and the stalking cult criminals, they keep falsely accusing me of using crack, fentanyl, and meth, crystal meth. Or one time, fake Damnesia tried to falsely accuse me of being a heroin user. I can't even describe what they look like. What they look like, you know. I was in Los Angeles the first time I ever saw what crack looked like, and I'm like, oh, it's white, you know. But I don't even know what these drugs look like. I don't know how to utilize them. You know, I don't even think about drugs. You know, I'm glad I'm not a druggie. You know. So, but yeah, when I mean, the lady, the paramedic lady, or female or whatever, when she was talking to me on the phone, when my chest started to hurt, like I was walking towards the bus stop, and as I was walking, like this happened a few times before, even over the summer, you know, for me to walk, and then suddenly my chest started hurting, and then like the more I walk, the pain start intensifying and make me feel afraid that my heart is about to stop in its tracks, and it hurts so bad that I could cry. And as I said, I don't know if it's from the stalking cult criminals stressing me out or causing me stress. Either that, or if it's I don't know if it's that, or if it's if it's the directed energy weapons. Like in the same way that when they squeeze my organs or whatever, make me feel like I'm about to, like, make me feel like my organs about to burst. And in 2017, like, I suffered in the way that they made me feel like afraid that felt like my heart was about to burst. And they would say that my heart was slightly larger than normal at the doctor's office in the hospital or whatever. But then they're laughing, hey, you had the best EKG we've seen all day. You know. So, but yeah, so the paramedic lady, when she tried to say, "Are you cold, sweaty, and clammy?" And I said, "Well, I'm sweaty and clammy, but I'm not cold." And she got an attitude with me and yelled at me and repeated herself yelling at me like she was frustrated and angry, and I'm glad that the paramedics came quick, but I'm still suffering chest pains and holding my chest. And it's a man and a woman, and they opened the door and they refused to help me. They didn't even put me on the stretcher. They expected me to just walk inside the ambulance, and they refused to even help or assist me get up in there. And then the female was way more rude than the guy, and they were yelling at me, demanding an answer for what hospital I wanted to go to. And I figured, well, since I got to be on the streets, I, try to ask, well, is there any way you could take me, like, to New Orleans? And then, like, oh, we're not going down there. That's too much or whatever. And they said, well, all the hospitals, they're all busy or whatever. And, so basically I didn't realize that the hospital that I went to, ended up going to, was like right next to the library. So but and like the female paramedic, she was the one illegally driving and with the one that was more rude, but the guy was not as bad, but he was a tad bit rude. But she had took the cuff that you use to take the blood pressure. She threw it on the floor and then reused that same thing again. Come on, man, please. Sounds like the fake Krusty Perp train. So, she threw the. Come on, stop. She threw the She threw the the arm cuff for the blood pressure on the floor, and then picked it up, and then and I felt, with my OCD and stuff, I felt so gross. And she picked it up off the floor. And then she was putting medicine in my mouth with her bare hands after touching the floor or picking stuff off the floor. And she used that same cuff, dirty cuff, to put on my arm. And she was rude. And she didn't even have gloves or nothing. And then I felt bad because I felt upset because my hoodie, it was a lot of bumps, taking the ambulance. And I was upset that my hoodie fell on the floor in the ambulance, But yeah, I had to get on the stretcher on my own. But once we arrived at the hospital, I was, the paramedics, they treated me a lot nicer and were more helpful in assisting me in getting up and getting in a wheelchair and doing this, doing that, whatever. But the doctor seemed like he was outgoing and friendly, but at sometimes when he would ask certain questions and he would be a tad bit rude. I forgot what questions he tried to ask me, but he would be a tad bit rude and yelling at me or getting frustrated. But the two nurses were more nice, but when I tried to describe and explain the pain or whatever, they treated me like they thought I was a hypochondriac. Oh, and when I was inside the ambulance, the lady paramedic, she was laughing when she tried to make it like as if my heart you know, like as if my heart or whatever seemed, like the EKG or whatever, she made it like as if it seemed so perfect that it was better than hers. And she was, laughing like as if she thought I was a hypochondriac faking. And throughout the years, especially here in New Orleans and Denton, Texas, wherever foster or biological families associated, if I would go to the emergency room and be treated with abuse and be falsely accused of faking illness for attention. And even when I first got to Los Angeles, I was treated with abuse by abusive, fake, narcissistic nurses that were rude and unhelpful. But after some time being in Los Angeles or being in Greenville, South Carolina, or being here and being there, like Pensacola, Florida, I didn't really have a problem with being treated like a hypochondriac. But coming back to what's familiar, or being associated with foster or biological family, if I need to go to the emergency room, I'm always being falsely accused of, or treated like I'm faking, But or they would blame everything on anxiety. Come on, man. But even in, so I'd be shocked when I go to the hospital or whatever, and they treat me with some kind of, what they would say, dignity and respect. And for them to treat me with any kind of doggone humanity. So, excuse me. It seemed like as if I don't know whether to say she was light-skinned, black, or Creole nurse who kind of acting like she was trying to avoid busting out laughing when I described the heart pain to her, And they said everything, all the tests came out fine or perfect, Come on, they got this homeless perp. Look like he's walking so close. Hi. See, look how close he's walking. This shit ain't funny. You got all that space over there, and you're trying to invade my space and walk so close by me on purpose. And then when I try to put him on camera, he thought that he tried to ignorantly laugh and think the shit is funny. Leave people the fuck alone. You have no reason to walk so close by me. He didn't even try to move away. Excuse me. And more, like this past week, more and more dealing with perps that's, doing and saying stuff on purpose, hoping that they could try to provoke me to violence. And that's psychological and emotional and mental torture right there. That they're making attempts and trying so hard and trying whatever they could, hoping that they could try to provoke me to violence. And I cannot fight, and with my disability, I cannot fight, and I don't want to fight. Just leave me the hell alone. Excuse me. So, excuse me. So, so I lost my train of thought. So yeah, the light-skinned black nurse, she acted like as she had a deceitful looking smile on her face or tried to not laugh when I was describing my heart pain or my chest pains, and the white nurse, it seemed like she was trying to, laughing because the other lady was laughing. excuse me, but I had hospital food for dinner, and it wasn't like the cooked stuff. It was like sandwich chips and either pudding or applesauce. I really like the applesauce, but they gave me fake 0 sugar pudding that I did not want that. But they had plain fake baked Lay's, thinking that's fake healthy. And they had turkey sandwich on fake nasty wheat bread. And I just ate the meat and I did not eat the wheat bread, and I was given some water. I didn't care to have any other drink since I had drink earlier that day, like juice or whatever, milk. But and then she asked me if I wanted anything else. I said, well, is it possible if I could have like another tray of food or whatever? Because I didn't eat the bread or whatever, and then it seemed like she got mad at me or got an attitude with me and deliberately gave me nasty food, So all I had with the second thing was the chips. I don't care how bad I'm starving, I'm not eating no damn 0 sugar pudding. And I'm not eating fake nasty wheat bread either, So the second one, all I could have was, the chips. But she asked me what I wanted and then got frustrated that I told her what I wanted, But the x-ray guy, he was nice, But, so it looks like, the hospital, got me a cab at no extra charge. And this homeless perp, he a devil worshiper. He stuck his middle finger up at me. He got like a bunch of fake satanic tattoos and stuff. Homeless druggy perp. Excuse me. Excuse me. So yeah, that's the best I could remember. That was the best I could remember from Tuesday night. Excuse me. And oh, excuse me. But I mean, yesterday morning, since I could not use, I accidentally dropped my MP3 player in the ambulance, and I was afraid that they would I was afraid they would have told me something or yelled at me if I would have disinfected and sanitized the MP3 player with the rubbing alcohol. But I took another cloth of some more wipes that's not alcohol wipes and wrapped it in there, just panicking, and rushing. And I think that's messed up my only MP3 player that I had left, And so, but yesterday early, I forgot what time I left from here, but it was like probably 3:45 or something that I left from here. I stayed only the cab driver, he dropped me off about almost 3 o'clock, and then I came over here, and the mosquitoes were biting me up so bad I couldn't stay long. Excuse me. So about 3:45 I got up and left this bench, and I got up and left this bench, and I walked towards the bus stop. I walked towards the bus stop, and thankfully, nobody gang stalked me I was able to have a peaceful walk without needing to do like a gang stalking perp walk or whatever. So nobody gang stalked me at that time, and nobody perped me at that time. The whole walk, I was amazed, and I was praying and hoping that nobody would gang stalk me. Excuse me. But then, when I got to the bus stop, they had a perp planted there in advance, and were waiting for me, and sitting there all that time. And then when I filmed and recorded the bastard, that's when they illegally drove off. So, and then they had a guy that was, like I told y'all about what happened on the bus, with the guy that had exposed his genitals to me and stuff. But I couldn't publicize the quick little video, and then, he had hurry up and covered himself once I started to try to film and record him. But, so, excuse me, so, like, there was another guy, I don't know if he was homeless or not, and it was like 5 o'clock in the morning, and I was like, having micro sleeps or trying to, I couldn't even get sleep, and I went to throw something in the trash, and I turned around and looked, and the guy was looking at me. He was pleasuring himself. But the black guy that just walked by, he was wearing a lot of black, and he had like a huge knife on his right side, his right pocket. He had a huge knife, and he was perping with a red bandana or a red piece of cloth in his he was perping with a red piece of cloth with his in his right side of his back pocket. He had he was walking with like the biggest knife I've ever seen, bigger than the biggest kitchen butcher knife. Like, he had a huge knife. And like, because of when I went on the trip by Abby, I couldn't take the pepper spray on the plane with me. I had to throw it away, but I threw it away before I but so I don't have the funds, so I need to find a way to replace, get pepper spray, if I gotta be out here. And I guess I need to probably practice to better use it. Try to practice how to use it, like, but like here in New Orleans, being homeless on the streets, I've been having to deal with being attacked by perps, like way more so than in Pensacola, Florida. So yeah. But something else happened yesterday morning that I either cannot talk about it at all, or I have to hold off on talking about it. So I don't think I can, at least for now, I cannot say anything, But yeah, even yesterday morning and afternoon, like the chest pain tried to sneak up on me. But yesterday, I'm sorry, the night before last, they had me take 4 chewable aspirins and some other medication. I think it started with an N, that you put it at the bottom of your tongue and it will dissolve. You know. And yeah, and she put that in my mouth with her bare hands after touching stuff, picking stuff off the floor in the ambulance, you know. And she even, you know, did the IV thing with no gloves on. And it seemed like blood was kind of skeeting everywhere. My right arm is the strong arm and with the thick vein, because they try to make it like, oh, in my left arm, they get frustrated that they cannot find the vein. But in my right arm, my vein is readily available and thick and hard, you know, like big, huge, you know. So when they stick me or whatever, it's almost always in the right one. But I don't know why sometimes they want to choose to do the left one and fight. I'm like, here's the one on the right side, you know, it's in your face, you know. So well, I basically told y'all what happened at court yesterday, and the stalking cult criminals. When I did a video, I got 100 something views and only 4 likes. And I'm like, what did I say that was offensive or wrong? You know, but I know the stalking cult criminals were mad that I didn't go to jail yesterday. But they're so delusional, you know. Yeah, but it's a tad bit cooler tonight. You know, it's not cold, but it's a tad bit cooler tonight. But it is October, and it still feels like summer. You know, it still feels like summer. Like when I left out of the hotel the other day, it was like I should not have put my hoodie on. That's how hot it was. And I mean, with my OCD, I felt like, well, I put the hoodie on and it got dirty, so I didn't want it, or contaminated once, you know, sitting on the bus seats. But I didn't want to put it inside of my bag, you know. But yeah, I mean, basically, I told y'all what happened yesterday. But, you know, I'm not going to say who it was, but I was given $20 in cash, you know, yesterday. So I went to lunch, you know, after court. Usually I go before court. And everything happened so quick. You know, I walked in there, it was like around 12:30, and so yeah, I went to court and was in and out. But I told y'all what happened. I told y'all about that yesterday. But after that, I went to a nearby restaurant that's been there since I was a kid, probably before then, and I had never been there before, and I had well, I mean, she told me the lunch specials. I probably should have got the 8 chicken wings for $8, but I don't know if they were fried, baked, whatever, or grilled or whatever. But it was a special that $8. I mean, 8 wings for $8. This he's purple with some red, and it seemed like he was coughing out and about. You know, wait till he get near me to start fake coughing, you know. But look at me. excuse me, but I have mucus in my throat, you know. It seemed like he was riding his fake bike near me, purple with the, looked like a red shirt or something. Well, he had on a Mardi Gras shirt, but he looked like he was holding something, a red item on his handlebars on the bike. And he just started coughing without covering his mouth. And wait till he get near me. And the stalking cult criminals, they're hoping that they can try to get me sick with something. You know. And guess what? The day before yesterday at the hospital, the doctor and the nurses at the hospital told me, they told me to make sure I stay away from cigarette smoke and stuff like that. So they told me to make sure I stay away from cigarette smoke. So yeah, yesterday, like I had with the lunch special, I wonder what would happen if I would have got a shrimp po' boy. But the burger was a little cheaper, you know. So it was like a burger, fries, and drink for like $11. And then I really was trying to get some ice cream, but she said that I couldn't buy it by itself, and that it comes with a cookie, and that they didn't have the cookie available for dessert. So she offered me chocolate cake, and I forgot what other dessert they had. And she told me it was really huge, and it was $9. Well, that chocolate cake could serve like 10 people, and I only was able to take like 3 or 4 bites. And the burger was huge, and I'm glad I was treated very good and treated with love and very welcome, you know, at that restaurant, you know. And so for, you know, so I got on the bus, and I stayed on the bus to ride through Algiers, and then get dropped off at the ferry, and then came over, you know. And you know, I listened to some of my Christian songs, and then I talked to someone, and then after that I live streamed, trying to get whatever help. Y'all saw what happened yesterday, but later last night it ended up not raining or whatever. But you know, the stalking, the threats, as I said, I shared it in the most recent community post, you know. So I did forget that I had that emergency power bank that was $5 at Dollar Tree. I forgot all about it, and that was the only one I had. So I had to use the bathroom pretty bad, and the perps forced urinated me. And so I went to this place, and I mean, I didn't even film or record, but you know, I had my earbuds in and was just, you know, trying to take pictures rather than doing a perp walk. I just took pictures of the offensive fake perp vehicles, and they had homeless perps and other perps trying to invade my personal space. Well, they had this place that one of the restaurants on Canal Street that I don't know if they just do it for the culture and the name, or if they actually practice real voodoo. So, you know, I didn't want to go eat there. And so I didn't go. I mean, I went to this place where the worker was really nice. He was wearing a red shirt, but it might have been his uniform shirt. And he did not act like a perp. But then I don't know, it seemed like he was giving me like maybe a little bit weird looks though. And I ordered a smoothie, and I had to use the bathroom. And the place was dirty, you know, even the doors were dirty. And so I got me a smoothie and called it. I got a smoothie and called it dinner, and like they had this 3 guys and a female that came. Like they had other empty tables, but they tried to ask me if they could sit by me at the same table as me. And the female was purple with the red shirt. And then she kept giving me mean, threatening looks. But the guys, I don't know why they asked to sit at the same table that I was at, when they had other empty tables, you know. And it's like, you know, I was intimidated by them, you know. So then, you know, I walked, you know, back over to come over here, and it was after 11 o'clock, and I listened to a few Christian songs, and I kept getting frustrated because, you know, the phone was acting weird when I was trying to listen to my songs, you know. And thankfully, I think a couple of things tried to bother me, but I really didn't get bitten up like that. You know, I didn't really get bitten up by mosquitoes and ants, because for the past few months, me sitting here, there was a bad ant problem. But for the past couple of days, it didn't seem like the ants tried to bother me. But, you know, and I dozed off and fell asleep, and my sleep was spotty. So I used that Dollar Tree phone charger. I'm surprised. It's very simple and it works. But it seems like, I mean, I guess I let it get up to like 50 or 60 something percent. And once like they said that you can only plug it for 4 hours or something. I was tired, so I, you know, dozed off and fell asleep. And they kept on having perps pass by me with like very loud smells and stuff, whether it be like a scent or odors or whatever. Like, and they kept having people pass by me with loud smells, you know. And I dozed off and slept, and my sleep was spotty. And I guess I was trying to sleep with one eye open. And I was extremely tired and sleep deprived. But if I was in a hotel, I promise you, I would have got much better sleep. But I mean, so I unplugged the portable charge, the emergency portable charger. I unplugged it because I heard stories about how people say that, you know, if you leave it in more than 4 hours, it could become overheated and catch on fire or something like that. So I unplugged it after a couple of hours, and it charged up to like 66% or something like that. And then, you know, got whatever little bit of sleep on this bench, and then I woke up, and then and tried to plug it back in, and it refused to try to charge back up. It was very simple. All you got to do is plug it in and swipe this little thing to the side, and a blue light comes on, you know. So yeah, that man must work here. Wait, nope. I guess. Excuse me. He's purple with red boxers, but he came from out of there. Now, a while back, excuse me, several months ago, they had some perps, some homeless druggy perps, that vandalized this room right here. This room right here this little small building is supposed to service all the supplies for these boats and stuff, Yeah. So, like, it's been hectic trying to ride the bus lately because, like, every morning they have this lady that's been coming on the bus with a freaking wheelchair. And, and she probably was a perp planted, excuse me, but I don't know, but it's frustrating. And then like the back of the bus is taken up, and I can't sit in a seat where I'm comfortable, And yesterday the bus driver kind of got an attitude with me when I got off the bus to let the wheelchair lady on. And I was debating on whether or not to get back on the bus, and I didn't know where I was going to go or what I was going to do yesterday. But I had Starbucks for breakfast, and I got much better treatment last time than the time before. And I'm surprised that the breakfast was outstanding, So, oh man. But as I said, to y'all, it was like, I don't remember if it was 3 or 4 people that pitched in and helped with what they could yesterday. And as I said, I really appreciate it. I couldn't get the hotel, but at least I could get some food, something to eat, But, yeah. And there was another lady that take the bus at like 8 o'clock in the morning. And she's also always in a wheelchair, but I don't know if she still take that bus or take that route. I don't know if she still take that bus or take that route. I repeated myself because they got whatever noise. I don't know if those were birds or what noise, So yeah, at the library the day before yesterday, those are birds. I printed out some short stories. I printed out 10 short stories, and as I said, I'm disappointed that I'm mad that this, everything did not print out. Like some of the words were missing. Some of the paragraphs were missing, But I'm pretty sure y'all would appreciate it if I read whatever samples out loud to y'all, But I mean, as I said, if I could get a hotel night, I would like to try again to read I still have them in my bag, I printed out some of the short stories, and hold up. So basically, I don't get much with the Social Security check, and I don't get much with the Social Security check, and they raised the price. They raised the check from like $727, and then for October I received $772, and then they said for November I'm supposed to start to get $778 a month, $778 per month, but or something like that. But as I said, the stalking cult criminals, when they stole my bag, they stole like all my information, and so I don't have that paperwork anymore with them telling me, the new amount of what I'm supposed to be getting. And as I said, my phone battery was unusually, because I was trying to raise funds for help for court or whatever, and I took a risk of fighting for a long time to get help, trying to get help, and I didn't get the help at all. Maybe $10. One person sent me $10. See, that's the fake crusty perp trains. Wow, they coming. Someone helped me with $10 or something like that, But my phone battery was down to 6%, and I unusually dozed off and fell asleep. And come on, wow. So I fell asleep, without realizing it. Dozed off and fell asleep. Come on, stop. See, right when I'm talking about the bag, they doing this shit on purpose. So, my bag got stolen, a lot of my valuables got stolen, and when my phone gets down to a certain percent of battery, it will not let me film or record. So since the fake crusty perp train is illegally here, I'm going to try to talk to y'all later.